There was somebody in a forum that I visit pretty regularly called the Frugal Filmmaker, and he was looking for help in finding a better lighting solution to upgrade his current work light, clamp light type setup that he had. I stumbled across the Julius Studio 3-piece light setup on eBay. At the time it was $90, but I've seen it go up to like $120, $125. It includes stands, it includes all the bulbs, it includes heads, it includes soft boxes and extra fuses for 3 lights. And for 90 bucks, the horrifyingly cheap bastard inside me was very intrigued. I mean, when I say that I am horrifyingly cheap, I mean like disgustingly cheap in an ugly, terrible way. The stands are a major con of these lights. The stands are horrible. They're awful. There is not a word in the English language. You have to go to Japanese to find a word that properly describes how hideous and terrible these stands are. When you're opening and closing the legs, like when you're setting them up, the struts that connect the center column to the legs for support, they're very, very thin, very flimsy, and they're connected with very, very crappy hardware. It's just not good. I've taken this thing down and put all these lights back up a few different times, and I haven't really had any trouble. I've just had to be very careful every single time I did it. One quick note about the bulbs. The bulbs are rated according to the advertisements at 5500K, or daylight balanced. From what I've seen, that's more or less true. The problem is that the diffuser that comes with the Softbox kit, when you have it on, it sort of casts this greenish tint. It's very subtle, but it's there. It's noticeable. Especially if you do video regularly, you'll absolutely notice it. It'll be just stand right out to you. But it's not so bad that you can't adjust it a little bit and be perfectly fine when you're using it between these lights and actual sunlight. At least not from what I've seen. The quality of the heads that you get is actually much better than I expected. The sockets. I was very pleasantly surprised to see that the sockets are actually made out of ceramic and they have metal connectors, which you don't get on a lot of these cheap light sets. Crappy plastic ones, a lot of times they'll like mold 2 halves and then they'll join them together, and the halves don't really fit together very well. And when you're trying to thread them in, it keeps on unthreading. You gotta keep on doing it over and over and over again until you get it right. This one, it's not a problem. The thing I don't like is that there's no handle on the back, and there's only 2 bulb adjustments. So one adjusts this side and the other one adjusts this side. I would like it if each bulb could be turned on individually and turned off individually. I would like it if there was a handle on the back, so I could easily adjust the direction of the light, as opposed to just like pinching this. In terms of light spill, there's a little bit on the back side at the point where the diffuser and the softbox connect, and also at the point where the Velcro connects the flaps on the softbox. I'm also not a big fan of the clasp knobs on light stands. I prefer the twisting knobs. I feel like they hold better and that they last longer. I'm looking at this review as more for people who don't have any lights and who want to upgrade from something like a DIY solution. However, I have also used these specific lights on a commercial shoot before. I took them out on a recent shoot of mine to use them for an interview and to light a warehouse space. You know, I did closer shots for the warehouse space. In terms of would I buy it again? Probably. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, for what I do and the type of stuff that I shoot, it's a great thing to have, I guess, you know, as a supplemental backup, but it's not something that's like, it blew my skirt up so much that I'm like, oh my God, I can't live without these things, you know? For $90, you're getting a hell of a lot more than I even expected to get for $90. I didn't have any idea that the heads had ceramic sockets on them. I mean, that was a surprise, and it was a very cool surprise. I was really happy about that. So while there are some issues with it, you know, I think that those are greatly beaten out by the value of the product and the usability of the product.